Everyone on the A-list is a local Seattle artist, filmed in Seattle with their permission. All rights reserved to Mastermind Music and Far Horizon.
Kira from Spinster. All right, how long have you been doing music?
I've been always singing since I was a kid and started singing in church. And then I just learned, I don't even know how it happened, but I was just like, oh, harmony is a thing. So this is going to be my pursuit is
Yeah.
Okay, bye. Just trying to do harmony over songs. So anything that would come on the radio, anything that I was listening to, I'd be like, oh, I can learn this and create a harmony. And then
really?
I feel like I got harnessed that just by practicing it a lot. And then I was I wanted to sing, and so I was hanging out with this band a lot, the Horde and the Harem, and met them. I was going to shows and learned about
here in Seattle.
Yeah.
Okay.
Learned about the Seattle music scene, and was oh, this is something that I could do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think when you're on the outside of it, you don't really realize how normal all the people are who are doing that. You think that this is a rock star thing, or you have to do it 8 hours a day, and there are totally people who do it 8 hours a day, but you can also do it for funsies.
Yeah.
For your own
Which is
self.
sometimes I think the most creative piece of it. We're not mad at yourself and forcing yourself to do something like that.
Yeah.
And then you did a thing called Ghost Choir.
Yeah.
And I think you called me up for that, and then that never worked out.
You should definitely.
Yeah. Do you still do it?
So we're gonna do it for the Spinster release. We just recorded a couple, 5 songs that are gonna come out in October, and so we want to do it for that. And it's not planned out yet. We don't have the dates or anything, so I haven't done a call for it. But I'll definitely do it. Cool. But it's just so fun to have crazy harmonies, and it's kind of excessive to do it for every show, but just to have a choir singing harmonies is
it sounds really good.
Else.
I was actually listening to your music this morning, and it's on Spotify. I have 2 songs on there, but it's really good. And is Jason on the harmonies on that one?
Yeah, we always 4-part harmony. Well, almost always. Maybe some songs Jason does, but he always slips a note in somewhere.
Yeah.
He's the drummer.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure.
He can't resist.
Right.
Slipping the weird notes in.
Let's see. So,
but I purposely assembled a band of all singers because I wanted a lot of the songs that I'm writing on my own. I always have enough vocal parts that I'm I need every single person to be singing.
That's such a cool craft to have, because I write singular for myself, and then I'm I want someone else in here, and I'm maybe this might sound good, and it's kind of interesting that you're able to. Well, I guess you said you crafted it for so long.
That's the way that I think about songs. I'm always really focused on the melody and harmonies, the vocal lines, and if the guitar parts are melodic, then they stick out to me. But I've definitely had to work a lot harder to pull things out bass and really be able to focus on them, or see how the other instruments are influencing the song. Something that I'm definitely trying to get better at, but the things that jump out at me are the vocal parts always, and that's how I'm crafting the song.
I totally get that. That's really what I like to listen to. That and bass for some reason. It's
well, and then when bass becomes melodic, then that's really cool.
Yeah. So how would you describe your music in Spinster?
So I feel like it's such a joke between indie rock kind of bands that every single indie rock band makes their own genre, and so that's how you know you're an indie rock band, is if you make your own genre. So we call ours forlorn doo-wop sulk pop.
Ooh, I've never heard that one before.
So it's pretty convoluted, but yeah, and I hear the metal scene is that too. Every metal band has their own title for their genre.
That would probably be really interesting to get into that on the metal side of things. Oh Jesus. Where can people find your music?
So Bandcamp, all the music is everywhere. We did the CD baby thing, so it's on everything. But the
dog distractions.
Bandcamp is easy. We have a website, spinsterseattle.com. That's just I personally do, but it just has links to everything. But,
cool.
Yeah. And then we'll have
all the Instagrams and well, I'm sure music. They don't allow you to do that on there, but we can follow you there.
5. we'll have 5 more songs that we're releasing in October that will be on all those platforms too. And we're hoping to do that one as a CD also. The last one we just did as downloads. We have this, I should have brought it to this, but we have this like pop can that we were like, we want the download code to be like on like a thing, so it's not just paper. So we made these little like pop cans like for like pop music.
Oh yeah,
and
it had soda, right?
Yeah.
So how did you come up with that, or like who made that soda?
We were just like, we want it to be a thing that's not just a piece of paper, and so then we were like brainstorming items.
Yeah.
And I think Julia Massey did chocolate bars, which I thought
That's
was really
so cool.
Yeah.
Sorry. Did you? Okay, so I'm gonna get into a Rain City rock camp. And did you start that yourself?
No.
Or
it was started by Natalie Walker and
it's okay.
Holly Hauser. She they started together, but Natalie's the executive director now.
Yeah.
And it's now its 10-year anniversary.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow, it's been around that long.
The first camp was in Portland, and then they built it kind of off of that model. But the camps are really like all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have them even in like, I don't know, like everywhere. Like
That's
everywhere
so
that you
cool.
can think of. The camps.
I just thought it was in Seattle.
No, it's everywhere. Yeah, and I did the New York one, but they have like the Austin one is like really fun to follow on
That's
Instagram.
so cool.
And, yeah.
I should look that up.
And like for the LA one, like so many celebrities live there. Like Katy Perry goes and like visits them, and like
Oh damn.
and like the girl from Garbage like hangs out with
Shirley
them.
Manson.
Like,
I want to be a part of that one.
Yeah. I know. I'm like, where are Seattle celebrities coming to our camp?
Yeah.
It's like they're touring. That's the answer. They're always touring in the summer.
Have they popped in? Like,
we have had Mary Lambert, which is really awesome.
yeah, is she from here?
Yeah, she's from here, and I think she goes to school on the East Coast.
Yeah, I just interviewed Heather Thomas, and she drums there.
Yeah.
And she was mentioning her. Did you want to say anything else about the Rain City?
Yeah.
Sorry,
so
I don't want to like
that's
jump
totally
around
fine.
too much.
And then like, so basically the mission of it is to like get more girls playing music, like the representation that you're talking about, like that there's a lot of men in music, and a lot of times consciously or otherwise, like women and non-binary and trans people are getting like kind of shouldered out of that just because like it's competitive, and like that's kind of like how our society is. So like then maybe they're not encouraged to play music as kids, maybe they're not encouraged to play music like as teenagers, or like they should be the fans or the groupies or whatever, or like you should just be like the backup singer or something, or you're the eye candy or something like that. And it's not
There's
like,
a lot of those stereotypes.
And it's not like about your music and your like your vision and your voice. So basically it's like wanting to like give girls and youth the tools to be able to express themselves through music, and then like using that as social justice.
Hello, new guest.
Greg, you just
this
don't
is
even
great.
know that we're being interviewed. You just have no clue. Come here.
She thinks we're playing. Yeah, there's in the Grammy Association, the head dude, I don't remember his name, said like women need to step it up, and that totally sent this like wave of like, you know, females and everyone else being really mad about it. And so there's like a study about like the percentage of like 89% is like men, and like the songwriters, I think there's like Rihanna, Nicki Minaj, and certain songwriters that are only like in the top ranking, you know, and the rest are like Drake and all these other people and that are men. And so yeah, I think they're starting to change the rules of some of those professions, like in the Grammy Association. That's the only one I've really looked into.
Totally.
But, yeah.
It's like everybody needs to step it up to like either make space for these people, or to empower these people, or to empower each other. And like it's like what's keeping you from doing this? Like for me it was like, oh, like I don't feel like I can just like kind of try it out and throw it together and like be kind of medium good at something. I feel like there's this like for women, like either like, oh, I've never tried that before, I could never, or I'm diehard about it. Like you can't just be like, oh, I'm kind of into football. You have to be like the diehard football fan, or you're like, I've never heard of football. And there's not this allowance to just be like, oh, like, I'm dabbling in this, I'm trying something new, I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm learning about this, I'm like learning how this relates to me.
Yeah,
or
and it's
whatever.
cool to like have that outlet too, and I don't know, I think music is super important to young
Totally.
people, I think.
Yeah, and we have like a lot of girls who don't really do music throughout the year, and they just like kind of come to camp because like our camp model is important to them, and they like it and they have fun, but like they don't play music outside of camp, and so it's like for some of them it's about the music, and for some of them it's about like that safe space that we create, and the music is just the thing that you try in that safe space, or the thing that you experiment with. And like, of course, music is going to play different roles in different people's lives, and some people have come to camp, learn all the instruments, like, you know, are kind of 18ish now and have these bands. Like Cotillion is a band that that came out of rock camp, and like would like had a lot of mentorship from rock camp. Like, we're gonna set you up with this show, like we're gonna set you up with this gear, like. And then Marion, who's my guitar player, like provided them with so much mentorship with their songwriting and kind of like getting them going, and like I don't know, just like helping with the sort of like project management aspect of having a band, which is a huge aspect of it.
It is.
So, and then that band now, they won the Crybaby recording grant or whatever it was. I forget what it was, but it like Crybaby like puts out like I don't know, like the scholarship equivalent of like getting recording time, and so they recorded through that.
I think I saw something about that.
Yeah, and also Cotillion got to play Upstream, and like, you know,
that's so cool. And they're like young.
They're like high school. I think the oldest one had just turned 18. I don't know, but yeah, they're high school. But they're amazing. Like, like their songs are totally amazing, and they're amazing.
I'll have to listen to them and maybe bring them.
Oh, you totally should.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, I guess with talking about that, like, when have you had like a moment of like, this is why I do music, or like, do you create a lot of those moments of like, oh my god, this is amazing, like this is why I'm doing this, just from influencing other women, or just in general playing your own music?
Yeah, I think like.
Or when was that moment where you're like, oh my god?
Well, I think anytime, like, because like, you know, as artists, and then also as women, and then as women artists, like, you're gonna have those moments of self-doubt, and like whenever I have that self-doubt, and I try to encourage other people to think about it this way too, it's like, if you can't do it for yourself, like, do it for the little girl who's gonna see you doing it, and then feel like she can do it too, you know, like, it's just like, I know that there's been those people for me that I see them, and I'm like, oh, they're showing me that this is possible. You know, so everyone should do it. You should do it for yourself. You should totally self-indulge and express yourself, and everyone should. But if you get into that like self-doubt moment where you're like, who even wants to hear from me? Like, I don't have anything new to say. Like, then like do it for the kid that is like sees themselves in you.
Yeah, that's really good advice, I think, for young people. And I do have a question about that towards the end. But what's next for Spinster?
We have our release coming up, and it's not booked, so I wish I had a date for it.
It's okay.
We do have a show on September 1st at Tim's Tavern, which I'm excited about. It's with Bare Axe.
Oh my god, there's Shayna.
Yeah, I mean, they're totally amazing. And then Thrown Out Bones and Hawkeye Pierce, which I believe they're both out-of-town bands. But Thrown Out Bones, I just listened to them, and they're like so amazing.
Okay.
Like, girl drummer who sings lead, and is just like, I feel like to drum and sing lead, like you have to have like the stamina of I don't even know what, but
yeah.
but, and then the songs are like
I can't do anything.
so they're not like simple drum parts either. Like, she's so amazing. I cannot wait to see it live.
Okay.
So that show should be cool. Our release should be in October, and then in November we're doing Earfest. So Earwig Studios does that. Bands that have recorded at Earwig, and just kind of like those that together.
Did you record? I guess it's been a while since they've had their newer studio. So
we've recorded the new one with Don Farwell, and he's like the most amazing person. Like, it's just like combination like spa and like ropes course and like wedding day, or like, I don't know, like it just feels like the most like amazing creative space. Like, it's just so comfortable, and then he's like so good at like really getting the best out of you. So yeah, we love recording with him, and we're excited to do Earfest. That's like November 17th or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he has like the Twin Peaks looking photos that everybody gets out of that.
It's so fun. Yeah.
Let's see. I think I've almost. So here's the just like, if you could give one piece of advice to a younger person coming into music or the Seattle music scene, what would it be?
I mean, talking about like the sort of self-indulgence that art should be and sometimes is, I think like we all also have to look around and be like, how are we creating space for other people to be doing this around us too? Because it's like everyone's like on the grind, like promoting their stuff, like marketing for themselves and whatever, and it's like, are you being conscious when you're putting together a show like to include those marginalized populations, not only like white women if you're a white woman, but you know, like people of color, like trans people, like how are you making the Seattle music scene an inclusive space for everybody, and like even if you consider yourself to be part of one marginalized group, like how are you also bringing in other marginalized groups? And I think it can be really hard because everyone is on that grind and you're trying to promote yourself and you're like, I have something that's worth hearing, which is true. Who else has something that's worth
love
hearing?
that. Do you like to promote other people's shows too? Well, you seem to have your hands in a lot of stuff too. But.
Yeah, I think I really like putting together shows of like people that I think are awesome people, and like I'm not very like genre driven when I'm putting together a bill, partially because Spinster's like the most like downer band ever. Like
no, it's not.
It is. It's like so sad, and that's not a bad thing, but it's just like it's not really like fun.
I love it.
Okay, some people think that's fun, but like
I guess I feel the same about my like so down.
So creating like the genre experience or like an emotional journey as you go through a show, but just like I want to play with people that like I feel like they're doing that thing of like making space for people in the community, and like they're being inclusive and they're trying new things and like they're giving people a shot, you know, like the people like the Brenda Shue is somebody who gave Spinster a shot there. She was like, you're putting together a band, and I was like, yeah, we don't have a show. She's like, I have something that I think you know, I'll see if we can put you on it. And like we wouldn't have had our first show except for that someone was like, hey, I know you, I know you're about cool stuff, like let me throw you a bone.
What venue was that?
Substation.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was like the
Substation.
Lo-Fi All-Stars or something.
Oh, sweet. Who are your favorite bands in Seattle or musicians? Or both?
Oh, my favorite musicians are in my band.
Yay! Jason and Marion.
Jason Chow, Marion Mack, and Maggie McGee are like, I love them so much. We have the best time together. Our text threads are like 200 texts a day. Like if you don't chat for like 2 hours, you're a goner.
Oh my gosh.
And I love them because they're amazing musicians and they're also amazing people, and they like care about that inclusivity that I care about, and they're great singers, and it's endless. But for bands that I really like, Another Perfect Crime is really amazing, and they have a lot of like sort of like activist, like I don't know, like fight songs a little bit that are really cool,
like anthems and stuff. Like that. Nice.
Yeah. Let's see who else am I really loving right now. I'm blanking. I should have thought.
It's okay. I didn't send you any pre-questions or anything. I sometimes do that, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nice to just like, what's on the top of your head?
Totally. A lot more casual.
And then do you have any, I guess, shout outs for the end of this?
Yikes, I don't know. I feel like my shout out is to the Rain City Rock Camp community that like makes it possible for all these women to play these shows and just like create that community, like make that scene so that we do have that networking among us to be like, oh, I know you. You can play your first show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Oh, Greg's ready for her last question.
I guess that's it. Unless you have anything to add or want anything else more about Spinster or where you can find your merch or anything like that.
We need to make new merch for our new CD release. I need to work on the branding of that. I've been doing some different like logos and stuff for different bands because I just graduated from graphic design school, so that's
sweet.
That's
Congrats.
Yeah.
All right. I think Greg's done.
Yeah.
Okay, bye.
Come here, Greggy.
Thanks, Kira, for doing this with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Jen. Guess that's it. I was getting a little distracted because